So, my name is Jasper Fforde, and we're going to go on a little virtual tour of Swindon, see if we can spot a few highlights as they feature in the Thursday Next books, which are, of course, are the setting, are all based in Swindon, but not our Swindon, a sort of, sort of slightly exaggerated Swindon. Anyway, so let's get started. So we are at the moment in Shaw Ridge, heading up towards the Finis Hotel, as it's meant to be. Now, Finis Hotel is actually an anagram of my first agent, and I just popped that in there as a little reference. You can see it says "Welcome to Morel." Actually, it was meant to say that, which is a mushroom festival, but the L has actually fallen off. Now, this used to be, I think, originally used to be the De Vere Hotel, and I think it's now called the Village. Anyway, it's always the setting. Right, so we're going to go back down away through one of the many extremely exciting roundabouts. You would have noticed someone on the right. Every roundabout in Swindon has its own keeper to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Going up to another notable roundabout in Shaw Ridge, and I think we might fade to black in a sec, which is not the end. As you'll see, it is just the beginning again. Anyway, so here we are. Right now, we have an interesting walking shot going up to a rather mundane position for a very great statue. This is, of course, the Lola Vavoom statue, Swindon's most famous daughter. Actually, I think it might be modelled on Diana Dawes, and I also have a feeling this might have been somewhere else originally. It is actually outside the there we are, a closer thing. It used to be outside. It's actually outside the cinema. Right, so I think we're going now to we're going off to Priory Vale, which is probably the this is my closest shot to immortality. I was hoping I could gain immortality by living forever, but apparently that's not an option, and that's a spoiler alert for anyone who realises that they might, die at some point. Anyway, so this is my immortality. Well, Miss Havisham's actually, because there's a lot of places in Priory Vale which are named after characters in my books. So when I'm gone and all my books have been pulped and no one has any knowledge of me at all, there will still be these streets named after characters in my book. Now, Queen Elizabeth does not appear, and in fact Queen Elizabeth Drive is actually a reference to the Queen Elizabeth hard drive, which was originally in one of her early laptops, probably 20 megabytes, you remember, in those days. Right, so we're going off Priory Vale now, so I think we're going to see one of the other streets. It's I'm seeing a lack of roundabouts at the moment. Anyway, hang on, where are we? We are Braxton Road. There you go. So we've got Braxton Road. I think after that we may have... there we go. Derek again. Thank you very much. I think after that we may be heading off to Thursday Street, which is up here somewhere. Let's have a look. It was quite nice actually, because they rang me and they said, no, this is the planning, this is the planning office of Swindon City Borough Council, whatever it is. And I was wondering if you'd like, these things named after you. And it's like one of those questions like, would you like a pot of gold? And it's like, why would I say no? I said, of course, I'd be hugely, hugely delighted. So there's Thursday Street. Look at that. Air house in Thursday Street. I've never actually met anyone who lives here, and I always thought that I was gonna... I think I mentioned somewhere on my website that if you lived there and you sent me your letterhead, with that address on it, I'd give you a free book or something. I don't know whether I'd still do that. I don't know whether I'm still that generous. Probably not, to be honest. And the Mycroft Road. I mean, why would you not want to live there? If they put a space in it, it could be Mycroft Road. Air close. There you go. Eyes closed, eyes wide shut, one air close, Rochester House. It's so cool, isn't it? I mean, it wasn't just one, it was like tons. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Right, so I think we've got maybe Bradshaw Court here, perhaps somewhere, Bradshaw Court. Yes, there it is, Bradshaw Court, and then we'll be kind of, I think we're heading out of it. Then, there we go. Look at that. Bradshaw, named after Commander Bradshaw. Commander Bradshaw was actually just the name of a character in a joke I heard once, and that's why Commander Bradshaw. And the lovely Melanie, his wife, if you remember, the slightly hirsute Mrs. Bradshaw, who is of course a gorilla. One of my favourite sort of secondary characters actually of the whole series. Okay, so we've left Priory Vale, and I think we are heading off to the church of the GSD. This is St Mary's Church in Acres Way, and it was one. Oh, I just heard a little voice over there, which I'm just going to have to mute the video that I'm looking at. Right, so yes. As always, I generally sort of go around locations as a sort of location scout when I'm writing a book, so I can get an idea of how things work and where you would have to drive if you were going from Thursday's house to Mum's house, and yeah, and I just take pictures, and sometimes I put them on my special features on my website, and I sort of do this perhaps more diligently than I used to, but yes, we're going all the way around. Have a little look there. The Church of the GSD, the Global Standard Deity. Still a good idea. Still a good idea. Oh, hang on a sec. There is someone on that park bench. Yeah, that's one of the people who look after the roundabouts, because roundabouts, as you know, need constant maintenance, because Swindon actually grows roundabouts. We'll probably get to this later. Swindon grows roundabouts. Swindon grows roundabouts for exporting throughout the world. They just start, you know, as a sort of basically like a sort of pudding dish, and then you put in a bit of sort of gravel and a bit of wire and stuff, and then you grow it, and then they come and pick it out and they export them. It's one of the major exports of Swindon. Okay, so we are now. Where are we going now? This is the first time I've seen this. It's quite exciting. Oh, TK Maxx, of course, TK Maxx. Now, TK Maxx, as we all know, I mean, you thought it was a sort of place where, you get end-of-line stuff and sort of cheap frying pans, which is the sole reason I go there. But I think it's actually a sort of temporal prison. So you get looped in TK Maxx, and you have to spend, only 10 minutes of your time looped again and again and again for like 20 years. And, sometimes, they did them in doctors' waiting rooms, which is why time tends to slow down there. But somebody had the bright idea of actually saying, well, look, why don't we actually just use this as a kind of retail space, and we'll we can actually make some money here. But that's the Max, you see, it's like a Max security, so that's why there's the Max thing in TK Maxx. It's actually called TJ Maxx, I think, in the States, but I've no idea why at all. Right, so I think we're going to leave that, and we're going to go to the this is the Cathedral of St Volks, which is on the Tesco site. Now, this is one of the 7 wonders of Swindon. You can actually look on the website for the 7 wonders of Swindon, and this is the Cathedral of St Volks, which is the only medieval cathedral of which no trace remains. I mean, nothing at all. But they put the motif of the sort of steeple, I thought, rather nicely in the Tesco design, but there is absolutely nothing. We would be probably in the nave about right now, sort of, just driving down towards the nave, and where you can get 10 pence off liver sausages, I think is where the font used to be. But yeah, absolutely nothing remains of St Volks. But it was also the location of the second coming of St Volks, and as you may recall from the books, it was a little bit of a disappointment. But anyway, right. We're going to carry on. We're going to say we're leaving Tesco. I think this is County Road, and we'll be moving towards the another. We missed it. Right, and so this is the stadium. The Croquet Stadium, of course. Now, the great thing about going around and looking at locations like this when you're doing scouts is that you can actually then sort of figure out, where things are and what you can do. Oops, I think Derek's going to be told off. No, there we go. Yes, he has. He's been told. Oi, sling your hook, mate. Yeah, so that's quite exciting. I think there is some sort of bizarre story that one of the stadiums was actually originally somewhere else, but I think that's actually a real story, and thus extremely boring, of course. So, leaving the stadium, we come to the Magic Roundabout. Now, I know people who live near Swindon who drive around Swindon all the time and always avoid the Magic Roundabout. It is very, very confusing. This wasn't the first. This is actually, if you think about it, it's one major roundabout with 5 contra-rotating satellite roundabouts that go around it, and I really hope that Derek will actually do boxing the roundabout, which is like boxing the compass, and it's where you go around every single part of it, and it's how quickly you can do that is obviously a competition for late night youths, you know, in their sort of souped up Honda Civic. So it's actually roundabouts, you go the opposite way around. Now the original one of these was it Hemel Hempstead, I believe, and it was later introduced here. They thought maybe they were going to have lots and lots more of these, but in fact they didn't in the end. They only got this. Now it's said, oh, we've frozen a bit there. No, it still seems to be running. Just got a little freeze. Oh, there we go. Maybe that was like a little time glitch. Now that is interesting. It probably was a time glitch, because how these works, you see, is in fact buried in the centre, just on the right there, is actually a huge amounts of depleted plutonium, which allows you to actually go round the roundabout faster than you would be able to, because you get actually pulled towards the centre by that huge amount of mass. And you can see it's happened again. It's just, you know, time has frozen there for a moment. I think actually Derek is now stuck. No, he isn't. He's away, and he's either had a brain hemorrhage. No, he hasn't. He's back again. So I think we're heading up. Where are we going now? Where are we going now? Magic Roundabout, leaving Euclid Street. Oh, this is quite interesting. Yes, it's obviously not a very busy day. Aha! Now I wonder where we are now. Let's have a look. Spec Ops. Oh, Spec Ops HQ. Yes, this is Spec Ops HQ, and we're just doing that again. This is like the sort of, you know, the action replay of the entry to Spec Ops HQ. Yeah, I mean, again, it just seems like sort of nice utilitarian building that would be Spec Ops. Interestingly, oh, there we go, another little shot of it. I mean, interestingly, I was speaking to my publisher, and we're going to be doing TN8 after I've worked on to finish Shades of Grey 2, which is what I'm doing at the moment. And I was trying to maybe finish Shades of Grey in one book, so there wasn't a trilogy, maybe two, but now it looks like there will actually have to be a trilogy, because there's just so much in it. I couldn't believe it, rereading it. It's like, whoa, I can't leave any of this. Right, so there will be a TN8 eventually, back in Swindon, back with Thursday. Okay, so now we are... oh yes, you should have. I should have got that Miss Havisham wannabe who's just outside the HQ there, the person getting married, but I missed that. Derek saw it, I missed it. God. Right. Okay. So where are we going now? This is quite exciting. So Swindon Library. Oh god, this has changed a bit. Oh, I know that. Yeah. So this used to be my town. You know, I used to live in near Marlborough, and I used to take my little girls. They're now like 32, and when they were toddlers, I used to take them on Sunday mornings on their trikes, and I was on my unicycle. You know, showing off. Terrible. And we used to pedal around the Brunel Centre, and then I used to take them to McDonald's. Now this was actually also, I think this is around Carfax, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is Carfax. Yes, it is. So this was where one of the other Seven Wonders of Swindon used to be, and now is actually also nothing remains of it. The Carfax was actually a multi-storey car park which had a twin helix design of car ramps, which one went up and one went down, and I made all sorts of history about it, about how, you know, Galileo used to use it for working out conservation of momentum and all that kind of nonsense. But it's quite fun, and someone even actually wrote to me saying, you know, you must help us save this, and I was going, you're saving a car park, you know, they tried that in Tyne and Wear, and it didn't work there, and that was much more famous. So and then we go around the Magic Roundabout again. I think Derek's actually got a little bit of a problem here with, yeah, I think he's got a little bit of a fixation on the Magic Roundabout, but you can see how complex it is. It's quite fun, actually. Oh, frozen again. You see, I told you, it's this time issues. It's frozen again. Here we go. But we're moving on. Right. Okay, enough already. Okay, he's just showing off now. He really is showing off that he can go around the roundabout. Or maybe he just hasn't made up his mind where he wants to leave. There's so many options. There really are. Yep. Frozen a bit. Okay. And no, still there. Right, okay. Now, we've left the Magic Roundabout, so where are we going now? Going up to the Old Town. Okay, so the old town is basically where I always think that that Landon and Thursday used to live up here in one of these roads. I was never quite 100% sure which one though, but I just figured that the old town was kind of where they hung out, because it was sort of a little bit more classy, shall we say. And that's no, I'm not sort of, that doesn't mean that the rest of Swindon isn't, it's not classy. I'm just saying it's like more classy. That's all. So I think we're going to head towards the regional headquarters of Goliath, the Goliath Corporation now, which I think we only really chose because it sort of was the most boxy and sort of looking a bit sort of. Oh, that's beeping again. I will get rid of that. There we go. Now, so going towards Rawton. Now this is quite interesting. Where are we? I think we are getting towards Goliath HQ. Here we go. Go on, hang a left. Go on, hang a left. There we go. Right. So this, yes, this is the. It's actually, I think it's actually nationwide, but we always made it the HQ of Goliath, where they get up to all kinds of nefarious activities, like buying Antarctica and then sort of selling the penguins, and then when no one wanted to eat penguins, they said, right, well we're going to have our doctor say that the recommended daily intake of penguin is 1 penguin, and then you can sell all the penguins. Apparently, I think they must taste quite fishy. It must be a sort of chicken fishy Twizzlers. But I just like saying that I have never eaten a penguin. Never. No penguins, no platypuses, nothing, no panda, nothing. Okay, so there it is, nationwide, and a little bit. And there's someone else who's probably keeping an eye on a roundabout, but doesn't have a roundabout. He might be actually in training to look after roundabouts, so he's just doing the sitting part of sitting to look after roundabouts for actually doing the roundabout part. This is the swamp, I think, where Goliath just chuck bodies, people who kind of don't, really sort of match up to their exacting standards, which is almost everyone. It's actually a swamp. It's a great word, isn't it? Yeah. It looks a bit pestilential, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so they're the delightfully friendly HQ of regional HQ, sorry, of the Goliath Corporation. Cots to coffins for all you'll ever need. It's great fun. People often say to me, tell me, what is Goliath based on? And I just go, name your multinational, But these guys have no shame. That's what I love about Goliath, is they'll just do anything, and they have absolutely no shame in what they do. Which I'm sure big multinationals would love to be able to do. It's like living in a world with a multinational, like there's no PR, you don't have to worry about anything like that. Or there's a very compliant level of the citizenry. Okay, another roundabout. God, there's so many roundabouts. It's good, isn't it? Look at that. Yay. So we are now leaving Goliath, and I think we're going to head back to the Finnis Hotel now. Yes, we are. Look at that. Yeah. So now this is where we've held nearly, I think, all but one of the Fforde Fiestas, and they go back 17 years, which of course is a massive achievement. We haven't had one every year, but it does go back 17 years. And of course, the organisers always working really hard. And although this virtual little thing looks like maybe this virtual fiesta looks like it's not a lot of work, there is a huge amount of work. So obviously our thanks go to the organisers for putting this all together. I've got an exciting walking shot up to the. Let's see if we can even see him reflected into the Finnis Hotel. And yeah, nice slow. It's no nonsense. Nice slow opening. Okay, I think that is the end of the tour. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that that you enjoy the other things that we've got going for you during the virtual Fforde Fiesta of 2021. Be well. I hope you are well. And speak soon.